All right, everybody. Good evening and welcome back to another episode of the Speak Black Man podcast. I am your host, Professor JBA. Now, listen, we are well into the season, so I am thankful for everybody who is tuned in. We have gone all the way from fall, winter, and now spring. So, episode 11 is here. We have an amazing guest coming on this evening. So, with that being said, if this is your first time tuned in to the podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, go to educationalentities.com right now, share this out with others and get them connected to the conversation. Now, episode 11, again, we have an amazing guest that's coming up. 5 points really quickly in Jay's corner to kick us off tonight. Again, if you have not subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure you do so and share this out with others. First of all, I hope everyone had an amazing Easter weekend. Today is Easter Monday. I don't know if a lot of people celebrate Easter Monday. That would have to be a whole podcast, right? Just talking about Easter Monday and the importance, the relevance of Easter Monday. But I also want to acknowledge two things that are happening interesting in this time of condolences and, again, celebrating the life of Francis Pope that passed, right? That's crazy. That the Pope has passed at 88. We'll go into a real life conclave. If you didn't watch that movie, it's good. It's also timely. So go check it out. But that's happening all in the weekend leading up to Easter, and tomorrow is Earth Day. It's got to be something about that, right? So want to acknowledge the passing of the Pope at the age of 88. And also tomorrow is Earth Day. Let us know what you are doing for Earth Day. That is it for Jay's Corner. Again, we just wanted to acknowledge the passing of the Pope and also want to, again, encourage everybody to do something actively. Be engaged for Earth Day. I recycle. But again, I want to hear from you all. What are you doing for Earth Day? What are you doing to commemorate the Earth, right? Because we need to leave something for the generations that are coming to be able to have a better place, as Michael Jackson would say. All right, listen, we're going to go ahead and bring on our guest for the evening. We have the top 5 for our guest that is coming up. Now, our highlight for today is raising expectations. Now, last week was raising expectations in Chicago. This week is raising expectations in Atlanta. Major shout out to Maria and Tangi. They have been in the game doing this for 20 plus years. And on this Thursday, they are opening up their new facility, which is super dope. So Tangi and Maria, we are definitely shouting out you all and raising expectations in Atlanta. All right, that's enough of me talking, guys. Listen, we're going on ahead and bringing on our guest. We've done our highlight. We've done our announcements. Derek, this is your first time on the show, so I want to say two things. Welcome, and here's the flow, right? We want you to tell the people who you are, where you're from, and a little bit of the work that you are doing with the amazing organization we know as PG, the Profound Gentlemen. So we'll hear from you.
Okay, good. And excuse me if it lasts a little bit. Wi-Fi likes not for us to be great at times, but good evening. I am Derek Hearn. I am kind of elated to be with you all tonight because I feel like this is such an important conversation. And so the work I do has been in education as an educator. I've come in from Benedict College. Shout out, I wore my purple today, not even just coincidental, not even on purpose. But yes, I'm a trained elementary education major. I've been teaching for the last 10 years, segue into STEM education, which I think is very important for our brown kids. And now I am a nonprofit director leading mentorship in middle school. And so I'm really excited to kind of be on the podcast tonight and jump into our top 5. I hope I caught everything. Jason, just let me know.
Okay, listen, first of all, the mentoring piece is huge. A part of the work the National Parents Union with our Male Fatherhood Coalition is doing with PG is connecting fathers, caretakers of all ages to the education pipeline, right? So mentorship is a huge area because a lot of men are engaged as mentors across the United States
That's the key.
in our schools. So I definitely want to just shout out that work. It is phenomenal work. It's impactful. And my mentoring program is celebrating 25 years this year. So
Hey,
major shout out to mentors.
that's
Definitely major shout out to
yes.
mentors.
That's right. That's right.
All right,
That's right. That's right.
Derek, listen, let's get right into
Okay.
like the top 5. Okay, so first, top 5, right? Because Speak Black Man, 30-minute podcast, we want to give people good information quick. So, first area, what are 2 books you would recommend for Black boys and Black men to read?
Yeah, it was hard to narrow it down to 2. But first of all, I'm going to recommend one of my favorite books just because it's my favorite book, Monster by Walter D. Myers. If you don't know that author, get to know him. And his son, actually, they've written books together, done some illustration. But yes, Monster, it's a book about a young man, high school theater major, gets caught up into the, wrong time kind of situation and captures his then trajectory of life for the next X amount of time through script writing, right? And it's just an interesting take on how he saw the world and how he then chose to portray it. It actually, in more recent years, I read that when I was in high school in 2 days. In more recent years, it became a movie too. But another one would be, so that's Monster, that's one. But also Bell Hooks, Kentucky's own. I'm from Kentucky, those that don't know. But Bell Hooks wrote a book once called We Real Cool, Black Men and Masculinity. And so just tap into that. I think that's a great read. It just talks a little bit about, just challenging our social norms and encourages vulnerability, healing amongst us as a people and a being, and just, critical thinking about what it means to be a Black man, more so from, just a different perspective.
All right, listen, the Monster is amazing. I used to teach Monster, and then knowing that it's a movie now is super dope. I feel like ELA teachers, social studies
Netflix
teachers, like you could do a whole lot with that. So major shout out to Monster. And again, I'm gonna throw my name in the hat, right? Suit, Swag, and Success is a great book for Black boys and Black men to read. Go to educational entities and make sure you check that out. All right, reading is fundamental. I want to ask you this. We're trying to make this connection in Chicago. So Illinois is having a conference that's coming up. We're focusing on literacy. And, just while we're still on number 1, we get ready to go to number 2, but just still on number 1. What is your take on literacy? A lot of people are saying Black men are not reading, Black boys don't read. But we know that that's not happening. So I just want to give you maybe a little time and space just to talk about literacy and Black men.
Yeah, I think the concept is just something that we do connect with, and I think we just look at literacy different. I think most popularized literacy is not something that we often gravitate to. I think we have to find our own interest, and that's the key for me in literacy. A lot of times, teaching science, literacy, and math is a huge part of that. But what I loved about it is it kind of speaks its own language because you have interest, you have self-motivation there. And so I think garnering the interest and just exposing, it's all about exposure. My professor used to say, it takes a child or anyone really 5 to 5,000 experiences to master something. And so I feel like it's our job sometimes to lead us to the water in a sense and give us those experiences to be able to drink and be able to learn and have those moments.
I see what you did there. Lead us to the water. This is still coming off the Easter weekend. So let me just say
that's right. Come on.
All right. All right, let's go. Number 2 in the top 5.
Yes.
Let's be real. Profound Gentlemen. Again, make sure you guys go check out the organization and the work. Number 2 in the top 5 is one thing you would change about tradition. I hate to say traditional, but locally operated public schools, which a lot of people would say are the traditional public schools. If there was one thing that you could change in a way that would retain and recruit more male educators of color, what would that one thing be? And I'm gonna ask you why. What would the one thing be and why?
I'm gonna take it back to what we started with. It's going to be mentorship. I think honestly, even when I'm writing my dissertation on, I think there needs to be more state-funded mentorship pipelines that support Black male educators from college through early years in the classroom. I just think that has to be, what happens that supports us not only just in the classroom, getting into the field, but also within leadership development, wellness support. Our mind is everything, and also biggest thing for most people is strong compensation, not only as individuals, but compensation to those programs, true resource to support. So that's what I think we need to do on all levels.
That income piece is major. That's a big part
Yeah,
of our advocacy,
1000%. I
especially
mean, that's
in
just the key
Georgia.
to where we are right now.
Yeah,
Everything is going up. Inflation is real, and so it's
the
just like the
recession is
thing
real.
that,
You preach it, man. Keep going. You're right. You're right. I
mhm,
mean, people
yes,
need teaching is a profession that we should value more. I hear a lot from our global partners with MPU, and they're always saying how our leadership and our
yep,
communities should
yep.
invest and value education more. All right, so that was number 2 of the top 5. Let's go to number 3. We're in Georgia. There's a major thing around uh, school choice, school options. Both things are different, and also accountability. There's a huge, cloud, especially over Atlanta, around cheating scandal allegations, and people don't feel like um, educators hold charter schools accountable, which I know is untrue because all of the educators I know in charter uh, or public school option spaces are driving accountability in a very, you know, engaging way with all audiences and all stakeholders. And so, top 3, which, number 3 in the top 5 is centering charter school accountability. What are your, not just your personal thoughts, but what are you seeing around accountability? And maybe don't give us the whole blueprint, but give us maybe one thing that PG is doing to support educators, leaders, new teachers around accountability.
Yeah, I think providing the tools when it comes to PG, I think, and the space to continue to sharpen our iron, if you will. They're definitely providing the network and the brotherhood that it supports. I mean, you'll probably hear a common theme with me tonight, which will be mentorship and support, and just the advocacy for those people. So for me, I just feel like that will be the biggest thing. Would be just the same as making sure that they are just transparent in everything that they're doing when it comes to the same standards that you may see public school held to. For instance, when it comes to curriculum, when it comes to different exposure that students are able to have. I just think it's important that it kind of aligns so that way for the student's trajectory, particularly in elementary school, it aligns with that they are matching curriculum and teaching the same level and the same rigor and the same things, and not just rigor, but like the same exposure and varying types of sciences and math experiences and those type of things to help support them as they grow, along with other like public school entities they may end up, going through or embarking on as they grow.
Good deal. I will say this: in the state of Georgia, um, a part of our school options are charter schools, which are free and public schools in the
That's
state
right.
of Georgia. Now, I also will say this: private schools still should be held to a very high standard of the quality of education that is inclusive, that is diverse, that is equitable for all of their students and their audience, the community they serve. I think that they also should be held to a standard. Anyone that is teaching children, anyone who is leading teaching and learning should be held to a higher standard. And so I do believe in that. And just wanted to make sure I added that to um, the platform's belief, because that's something the platform believes. All right, top 5. We are now in number 4. This also kind of goes a little bit into the work you're doing with Profound Gentlemen, also known as PG. So one thing you would do as a leader in the game, 10 years, I want to say, I heard you say that. I may have
That's
heard
right.
you say that correctly.
That's
Okay,
right.
so one thing you would do that would help recruit and retain uh, more male educators of color. And this is so relevant and important because a lot of programs across the nation are under attack because of the administration's focus on dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion, which does impact programs, institutions, schools, academies that focus on this work. So, innovatively, what are you doing right now in the space uh, to impact this work?
Well, for me, it's going to be providing space. Where you can't always have the funding resources that you need. I love the great institution that I'm at right now, getting my doctorate, because our motto is, find a way or make one. And so a lot of times now, I feel like we are making the way to help support. And so for me, I am the impact leader for Atlanta and really Georgia. So really any gent, as we say, or any profound gentleman that is a member or even interested or becoming interested in those spaces, you have a space provided. We have a network of gentlemen here who know how to just garner resource for you, who can be a leading support, and we just know how to find our way or make one, if you will. And so that's what I love about PG. For me, coming through a mentorship program in college, it was great. It's kind of, for me, what made the difference, if you ask some people, for me actually being able to graduate versus others
That's good.
in my educational program at the time. But now I feel like when you graduate, it's kind of like, okay, now what, and so this platform allows gentlemen to continue that support. I now know, okay, I had the support in college. Now I'm a working professional. I'm growing in this area. I have ideas. I have new things I want to try. I have shifts that aren't in the normal trajectory of career path. What do? This provides a space and also a platform to kind of think through and get some of those answers, but also getting some of the support, conference exposure, et cetera, that you need, that really makes or breaks the difference when you're in the educational field, particularly as a Black male. Again, just providing that funding for that mentorship and providing that space is going to be what I think needs to be important, like almost a mandate at this point when it comes to it.
Listen, that is a mandate. I'm going to even say what I heard you say is a call to action that if you know any male educators of color across the state of Georgia, especially in our rural areas like the coastal areas, Chatham County, Savannah, let's go to Doherty County, Albany, Griffin, Spalding, et cetera, so forth. If you know people in these areas, get them connected to Profound Gentlemen, profoundgentlemen.org.
Yes.
Go ahead, get all the information you need, which takes us, quite frankly, into the top 5, number 5, which is building the work in Georgia. I am a huge supporter of PG, especially for the work in Atlanta and in Georgia. So I'm looking to help support that. I'm doing this on the podcast live so people can get ideas of how they can also support. So if you need like networking space for people to get together, we are always looking to get, bring together educators, especially men of color, together in networking spaces. And I'm willing to help, coordinate some of those things and invite you guys in the spaces. So please let the people know, how can we help
y'all heard it here.
Work in building this Power 300 of male educators of color in Georgia who are impacting innovation in education and all of that good stuff. So let's hear from you.
Yeah, I think I feel like when it comes to Black males in this space, I think, we talk about it a lot. And I reference my dissertation research again, because for me, it's about, okay, what is working? We talk a lot about the problem. I'm very solution oriented in my day to day. So I just feel like instead of talking about what are the barriers and rehashing what the barriers are that are stopping us and the lack thereof, I think it's time that we expose the effectiveness that's helping to actually achieve what we're looking to achieve, which is success. Black men staying in the classroom, Black men being able to move. And so for me, Georgia needs to invest in Black male-led educational initiatives. I mean, similar to PG, right, and other programs we have. That really help go beyond the classroom. I think we think, okay, classroom, they're in the classroom, that's the exposure. Yes, but we are still individuals. We are still people who, like I said, 10 years is a long time. You know, things change, students change, the way we teach changes. So we need more youth mentorship. We need after school leadership programs that we can connect with. Community based, I would say education fellowships, like that's a big part of this too. How do we build in the community back into our schools and help kind of create this volley effect of support that goes back and forth? Because that's the way we have to kind of keep pouring back and forth into each other. I mean, and the biggest part is partnering with our HBCUs. I mean, being an almost two-time HBCU graduate, I'm proud to say that, yes, like the pipeline that we are able to create culturally kind of grounds our educators in a way that you just don't see in other places. And we need to tap into that, again, outside of the classroom. So when you're leaving these teacher ed programs or these educational spaces just in general, what support do you have? What avenues do you have? What networks do you have? So really partnering with our community. I think that's what we need to get back to. That's the key to this thing is as we mentorship. I know that can be so broad. Specifically, it's like using the village again, going back to that motto and just making it everything that we have to do to make sure that it's right.
I appreciate that because like connecting everyone together is like a huge it's a huge gap. Like, people are so disconnected from what's needed, especially what's needed for young Black children, especially young Black children in public schools. And I really want to say all children that are impacted by male educators of color, especially in reducing the negative stereotypes. So we are through the top 5. We are at the end of the show, and I want to ask like just 3 things, right? Just 3 things randomly. One, what concerts, what music are you excited about in this season? So first question before we get ready to close out, what music, what summer concerts are you excited about that are coming up?
That's a good question. Okay, so Kendrick Lamar, I just saw is coming up to Atlanta this week or next, I think 29th. So that's kind of exciting. I actually was looking at tickets for that right now. So that's probably the most recent concert I thought about. And of course, we have so many festivals. I think around my birthday, my dog in the background. I think around my birthday, we have a food fest. So I think they have some performances happening there possibly. But right now, Kendrick Lamar, that's the top one I'll say.
Okay.
And Chris Brown.
Chris Brown is a good entertainer, but that could be also very political. So I'm not going to go any further with that. But I do want to ask you about any recent movies that you've seen. I know that there are a couple of Black movies that have come out. I'm not saying they all got to be Black, but I got to put us on the spotlight. There are 2 major Black films that have recently come out. But yeah, what have you seen, or what are you looking forward to that's coming out?
Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to see Sinners for sure. It's ironic because I actually have that picture that they make reference to in my home, and so I was kind of able to see that movie recently, and so just the story. Shout out to Viola Davis holding it down as Madam President. It was nice. It was nice. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. But definitely, I'm waiting to see Sinners as well. So yeah,
I'm excited about seeing that as well. All of the festivals, all of that is coming up. And my last question is this: I always want to end on what is something that is crazy times if people are really keeping up with the media, the news, what's happening with government. What are you doing to stay sane? What are you doing to keep peace of mind and your self-care? That's the third thing, and that's going to be final thoughts before we close out today.
Just keeping yourself grounded. I think one reason I even relocated to Atlanta after undergrad and my master's degree was because I want to get connected back to my childhood friends that live here, and just finding Derek again. We spent so much time, and so much effort trying to become, these educators and professionals, and we are. But also, we're people, and so getting back to you, spending time with loved ones, with friends, laughing, just kind of relaxing, good food. Everybody knows me knows I am a foodie, so please, good food. And so it's just really some of the simple things that we may take for granted, but just finding space to relax and sometimes do what best serves you, the human, some holistic medicine.
Man, I loved all of that. Thank you for being on today. And what I also heard, just in
Man,
closing, is that you like food. So any of the Georgia
yes,
networking upcoming events must have good food. So if you own a restaurant,
please.
if you're trying to get your brand out there and you want to get people who want good food to your
Yes,
establishment, hey, connect with this brother. Check out what
there you
PG
go.
in Atlanta in Georgia is doing. Again, Derek, thank you for being on today. It's been
Cool.
phenomenal. Listen, everybody, this is episode 11 of the Speak Black Man podcast, season 6. We are winding down the season as we get ready for the summer. Two things I have to close out with. September 29th is Grand's Giving Day. That's the last Tuesday in September. LiliesFoundation.org. We're asking 100 people to donate $100, right, for an organization that supports grandparents and caretakers raising school-aged children. And then I would invite you all, if you are in the Atlanta area, one of the best galas of the year, the Allen Wayne Gala, celebrating 10 years of Lily's Foundation, will be on Saturday, October the 4th at 6 o'clock p.m. It's going to be at Blue Mark Studios. I'm excited about that. I also am trying to make sure that I'm giving the right dates, because last time somebody was like, what are you talking about? But yes, I am right. It's October 4th, 6 p.m. Blue Mark Studios in Atlanta. It's going to be phenomenal, celebrating 10 years of Lily's Foundation. And we know we're in a recession, so the tickets are affordable. There's going to be an art auction, best mask contest. It's going to be a phenomenal time. Go to liliesfoundation.org right now, get your tickets. And also stay tuned for the special announcement for our honorees this year who will be celebrated. Again, this has been the Speak Black Man podcast, episode 11. Support Profound Gentlemen. Support our highlight organization of this episode, which is Raising Expectations, the Atlanta Raising Expectations. Last week was Raising Expectations out of Chicago. This week it's Atlanta. So again, thank you everybody for being tuned in to the episode on tonight. And next week, we'll see you 7:15 next Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you then. Thank you, everybody.